Today, Auntie Lucy is going to answer some Tumblr asks. I have anonymous settings enabled on my Tumblr so people can ask me anonymous questions. And so usually I get asked advice. I'm going to go through a couple right now and see if I can give you some help. I'm 18, almost 19, and lately I've been thinking a lot about my appearance. I've never cared about what people think of me until now. I've never even kissed anyone, and no one has ever shown any sort of romantic interest in me. I'm starting to feel like no one ever will, lol. Anyway, whenever I'm out somewhere with my friends, I'm constantly comparing myself to them. I find it so easy to find beauty in others but not myself. Just wondering if you've ever felt this way and what you did to overcome it. Yes, Anon, I have felt this way. This was me in school, me in sixth form to a T, especially me in sixth form, actually. I think it's really hard when you're kind of finding your identity and lacking identity, and you're surrounded by all these images of what you should be and what you could be if you worked a bit harder, or if you bought better clothes, or if you knew how to apply your makeup. That really does breed that insecurity within you, especially when you're surrounded by people who you admire and you look up to because they're your friends, but you also kind of want to be them and you can't stop comparing yourself to them. This is going to sound like a bit of strange advice, but in terms of being comfortable around yourself, which seems to be a big issue for you, I would recommend being naked more. Now hear me out. By naked, I mean like after your shower, just sit with yourself and be with yourself, maybe in some underwear, but as naked as you feel comfortable being, and put yourself out of your comfort zone slightly. I found that super challenging because I was always told to kind of be ashamed of my naked body. And so doing that when I was kind of 19, 20, 21, 22 gave me a real inner confidence. And that inner confidence does end up leading to you feeling more comfortable around dating people and relationships. And you're only 18, like you're old, but you're young. Like you've got time to like kind of sit with yourself and learn to be with yourself and grow confident in that. Do you think it's weird if I just be straightforward and tell a guy that I like him? I have a feeling he doesn't like me, but I want to know so I can move on. You've literally answered your question right there. Like, I want to know so I can move on. Yes, just ask him. To be honest, everyone likes honesty. Everyone likes to have peace of mind and for people to be upfront with them. So you going to him and saying, hey, just a question because I need some closure. What's the worst that's going to happen? Like he'll either say no and you can move on with your life, or he'll say yes and you can work out where to go from there. Is it ever okay to get back with someone who has cheated on you? I just can't seem to fall out of love with them. Nobody compares. My friend Grace made an amazing video on this really recently. I'll link it in the description, about how she talks about how she got back with an ex. I don't know if he cheated, but going back to someone is always seen as kind of shameful and kind of taboo in our society. And I understand why, because sometimes it feels more like you're regressing than progressing. However, you have to follow your gut. If they hurt you and they hurt you a lot, I think it's probably best you don't get back with them, because part of that feeling like nobody compares is probably your insecurity. Because instantly when someone cheats on you, I think a natural response feeling is insecurity, because you're like, am I not good enough? You start asking yourself these questions that you've never had to ask before. Like your security in your relationship has just done a 180. It also depends on how they responded to it as well. So if they're really apologetic, it also depends on the kind of cheating. Was it just a random kiss in a club, or has he been sleeping with someone else, he or she? Like there are so many like factors, but ultimately you've got to follow your gut and you've got to say, look, take out of the equation nobody compares, because there are always people that are going to compare. How do you feel about yourself taking them back? If you feel secure in that and you feel confident that the relationship will only improve, and not just improve, get better from the cheating, then stay with it. Any advice on how not to get attached to people so easily? I feel like I can't let people go. That's a very internal thing. See, I don't have that necessarily. I'm quite good at drawing a line and saying, look, here's my boundary. That boundary's been crossed. I can no longer be attached to you, so I will not be. I put it in packages. But in terms of not getting attached, just know that there's plenty of fish. Like you will always find someone else who can support you. You will always find someone else for you. Like there will always be someone to fill the void that other person has left. I am of the mindset that friends or people are only in your life for the period of time that you need each other. And so that might be your whole life. That might be a decade. That might only be like 4 months. But these friendships, it's very fluid. You know, they like ebb and flow. And so if you try and become at peace with the fact that friendships do change and relationships do change, and that you have to let go of people in order to let new people into your life, that might start to help you progress and accept the change and the inevitability of ending friendships. Okay, I think that's Auntie Lucy done today, because the drilling is actually driving me through the roof. No pun intended. But yeah, I'm not at peace with myself filming today. But thank you so much for joining me. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.